like today is van life update number 79. Van life update 79. And it marks a milestone for me. No one knows what a milestone is, right? You know, back in the days of the Roman Empire, Roman soldiers would lay out stones on the Roman road at 1 mile intervals. So people on the Roman road would know where they are and how long it would take them to get where they're going. Of course, we still have mile markers today. Any highway you go down, you'll see a mile marker. So it makes a lot of sense. But milestones are those places where we mark a progression on a long road. That's one way to look at it. The mile markers would give people on the Roman road a concrete idea of how far they've come or how far they're going. So milestones have become a part of our terminology when we're thinking about projects, when we're thinking about being on a journey. We think about milestones, how far we've come and how far we've got to go. It was probably sometime in the 18th century when milestone took this leap forward into our language to refer to a significant stage or a place along the journey where we might want to stop and reflect. So this milestone for me represents 90 days since Mitch and his van was created. Back on December the 20th, 90 days ago, I set Mitch and his van into motion. I posted my first Mitch and his van video on December the 20th, and you can go back and see it. So today, day 90 of Mitch and his van is kind of a milestone. It's one that I'm going to celebrate, one that I'm going to recognize. It's interesting how a milestone is a place where you can just sort of stop and reflect and maybe get an idea of how far you've come, which is encouraging. And also make you see how far you've yet to go. It's a long journey. When you think in terms of a long journey, these milestones are pointed places where you can break up that journey into little chunks and kind of stop and reflect and stop and think and get some encouragement about how far you've come. So what are the advantages of celebrating a milestone? Do you celebrate milestones? Do you, other than, your anniversaries, of course, but if you're in the middle of a project, it's always good to set out some stopping points, some milestones, some minor goals that you've reached. Well, why is celebrating a milestone important? Well, it makes the progress that you're making visible, makes it concrete. You can stop and visibly see how far you've come. You can look at a calendar and count the days where you started your project. So it forces you to step back and think and evaluate how far you've come and maybe make some changes. If you see the journey ahead, it may cause you to stop and do some replanning. Milestones also reinforce consistency. It's encouraging to see how far you've come and what you've accomplished. Because I'm not celebrating today, after 90 days, the purchase of a van. I knew it was going to take me longer than 90 days to purchase a van. I had no idea that Van Life America was going to be a part of the equation. That idea didn't even come up until recently. So back 90 days ago, back in December, when I posted my first video, Van Life America was not even born yet. It was not even a part of the thinking at the time. When you stop for a milestone, not only does it make your progress visible, but it also reinforces the consistency of the trip, of the steps you're taking. And instead of celebrating the purchase of a van today on my 90th day, what I'm celebrating today is the fact that I've shown up for 90 days. I'm still here. I'm still moving forward. I've got 79 straight daily updates in the bag. I've not missed a day since January the 1st, when I made the commitment to do a daily update. Today is number 79, so I can celebrate that. What it does, what a mile marker will do, what a milestone will do, is sort of refocus the result that I can't control into results that I can control. I can't control the future. I don't know what it's going to be. And I can't change the past. I can't go back over the last 90 days and make any changes. They're history. But what I can do is focus on today and focus on what I will do tomorrow and in the coming days. I can make plans. I can make changes if necessary. Not only do milestones help us see our progress or help us see the consistency that we've taken in our journey and encourage us by the fact that we're still here, it also creates a sort of psychological checkpoint. Long journeys can overload the brain. When I think about Van Life America being a 3-year project, that looks like a massive idea. A 3-year project of purchasing a van and getting on the road, that is a massive undertaking. It's a massive idea. And if I look at all of that, it could be overwhelming. But if I set myself little goals and certain milestones, then it breaks that long journey into workable segments that I can comprehend and not get so stressed over. It's like small steps, taking small steps as I progress through this huge idea that I'm calling Van Life America, this huge project. Each milestone gives us a chance to stop and reflect and to reset and maybe recommit ourselves to the journey, and allows us to stop and think for a moment and look ahead. So I don't have to stress out over this big, long idea, concept, project, huge undertaking. I don't need to stress out over that. What I need to concern myself with are taking these small daily steps each day. That's one reason I wanted to do a daily update, is because it would help me break up the journey into daily steps. What am I doing today to advance my journey forward? And that's why today is a milestone for me, because 90 days ago, none of this existed. 90 days ago, it was just an idea. 90 days ago, on December the 20th, I had a conversation with myself. It was a conversation with myself about purchasing a van and getting on the road and transitioning into van life. And I had a conversation with myself, basically telling myself that I was nuts. I was crazy. But I've come a long way in the last 90 days. And when you think about it in terms of the long, big picture, 90 days is not that long. Well, in terms of my YouTube channel, I try not to get all caught up in the weeds of analytics, but just to show you, to give you an update. I started my YouTube channel back on December the 20th, as I said, with nothing, no content, no subs, no viewers, no nothing. It was a brand new blank canvas back on December the 20th. Well, as of yesterday, I have gotten 2,617 views, 111 watch time hours, and I've got 31 subs in 90 days. That's where we're at, which is okay. It's fine. because I know it takes time. I knew it going in that the numbers were not going to be that huge. But you got to think about where I started at 0 and where I am today, 90 days later. I've got 31 of you who have subscribed to the channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you for doing it. But more importantly, I have come a long way in terms of the vision, in terms of the project. Van Life America was given birth within the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Had I not begun this journey back on December the 20th, Van Life America would have never been created. I would have never conceived of the project. So I'm not worried about the numbers. I'm not worried about the analytics. I'm worried about putting in the work day in and day out to try to reach my goal. If you're trying to start a YouTube channel and that is a project that you're wanting to accomplish, then just think it's gonna take time. You've got to be consistent and you've got to stick with it. I've talked enough about milestones. I'm celebrating mine today. 90 days are in the bag and I've got another 90 days ahead of me. So hope you're staying with me and you'll come along for the ride. Go out and have a good day, and we will see you tomorrow. The analytics. Hello, fire truck, making noise, drowning me out. Thank you very much. Jeez. You know, it's like anytime I sit down to make a video, it's all Round Rock. Everyone in Round Rock gets together and says, let's go and see how much noise we can make and keep Mitch from making his video. That's what I get for trying to do this outside. And you've got to stick with it. Why is traffic so busy today? God almighty, it's like non-stop. Appreciate each and every one of you for doing it because it helps me. Big ass bus. Make some noise. Jeez Louise.